Welcome to the O Show with Orlana Darkins Drewery, your connection to events, topical interests, issues, and the movers and shakers in our world, and the opportunity to learn things that make you say, oh. Joining me today is Cory Stahle. He's an economist for Indeed Hiring Lab. Cory will share the 2023 workplace and hiring trends reports and highlight the top 5 emerging labor market trends and insights into the future of work. Welcome, Cory.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So let's dive right in. So share with us about the 2023 Workplace Trends Report.
Yeah, so overall what this report is this report is basically Indeed, which is the world's #1 job site, coming together with Glassdoor, which is the world leader in like workplace insights and kind of what the environment is like within jobs. And so for the first time ever, Indeed and Glassdoor have joined forces and kind of brought our data together to come up with some ideas to what the trends look like in the labor market now and where we see things going in the future.
Okay, so what are the top hiring trends and workplace trends for 2023?
So the big overall kind of highlight trend is that we've seen a lot of kind of tightness in the labor market and some challenges for employers to find employees over the last couple of years. And based on the data that we're seeing with Indeed and Glassdoor, those trends are something we expect to see continue. And so as part of that, the other trends then are some things that employers need to keep in mind going forward and ways that they can really kind of pull employees in or to attract employees as they're looking. And so the first trend is that this tight labor market is going to continue. The second trend is that remote work is here to stay. The third trend is that benefits are something that can really set employers apart. So, benefits are a big part of overall compensation for employees. And so by kind of being innovative and finding different benefits and different ways to attract workers, employers can really set themselves apart. The fourth then trend is that employers really need to be focusing on happiness and well-being in the workplace and really figuring out how to keep their employees that they already have happy, because we found that when they do that, employees are less likely to leave and less likely to be out looking for jobs as well. The final and fifth trend then is that we see that the workforce today really wants a lot more in terms of diversity and inclusion programs. And it's really interesting in the data, we actually saw that almost 2/3 of some of the younger generations said that they would turn down a job or walk away from a job if they didn't see equal gender or equal race representation in the upper leadership of a company. So those are kind of the main 5 trends. Again, the tight labor market's going to continue. Remote work is here to stay. Benefits can set employers apart. Happiness and well-being really matter to employees. And we want to see more diversity and inclusion programs as job seekers.
So it sounds like that there's a lot of work and onus on the employer to do some work on their end, especially when you say make their employees happy. I had a conversation with a DEI specialist, and she was saying how it really is as simple as asking. Do you agree?
I agree. I think it is as simple as really asking, and really as employees, really having these important conversations about the things that we want to see from our employers as well. So I think that is another big takeaway from this report, is that given this tight labor market and the difficulty to bring people in on the employer side of things, that really means that employees have the upper hand. And so some of that bargaining power that employees have is definitely something that employees should consider using to make their voices heard and to really express what is important to them from their jobs and what they want to see. I mean, we spend such a big portion of our life in those jobs. And so really letting our employers know the things that are important to us is key as employees.
And you talk about diversity. Again, this is another conversation that I had with an employer, and that question was brought up to him from his employees. His response was he doesn't know where to go. So what do you say to employers who say, well, I don't know where to start?
Right. I think that's a really, really great question. And that's something that, so I mean, within this report, we didn't talk too much about that. But there are a lot of great resources out there. Again, Glassdoor being one of the kind of leading sources for kind of employer and kind of we basically, Glassdoor collects all these different reviews and you can see what employees are saying about those jobs. And so there's a lot of information that you can find through Glassdoor and also through products like Indeed has company pages. And a lot of those types of products that Indeed and Glassdoor have are great places for employers to go to kind of see what employees are saying, what type of DEI, and diversity programs are being mentioned by those employees. So I think as with anything in business, kind of looking at what other people are doing and kind of the case studies and best practices that other companies are adopting, I think is a really, really good first place to start.
Awesome. So for employers and employees, Indeed and Glassdoor, whether you're looking for a job or you need information on how to improve your workplace, those are the two resources to go to, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, and if this is a report that people want to take a closer look at as well, they can do that by going to hiringlab.org. And so that's, again, we're the Indeed Hiring Lab. And so that's where the report is if employers or employees want to take a closer look at that.
Hiringlab.org. Cory Stahle, economist for Indeed Hiring Lab. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was very insightful.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for tuning into the O Show. This was Orlana Darkins Drewery. Until next time, keep shining.